afternoon, November the 24th, 2007. A day of miracles. Not miracles in the good Christian sense. Miracles in terms of football. This evening, Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. The Missouri Tigers and the Kansas University Jayhawks will play a football game that will open the door for one of them to play the mighty Oklahoma Sooners, with the winner quite likely to play for the national championship in football, college football 2007. And you, of course, most of you young enough that you wouldn't be like us old-timers and remember what a joke KU football has been for many years. Yeah, most of you know a little about it because they've been saying, they weren't even 5-0 for close to 100 years, let alone 10 and 11-0. Whoa! When I was just a lad here in Kansas, one week the Wichita Eagle came out with a sports news writer writing a little column and saying, folks, you really ought to consider driving up to Lawrence this Saturday, see the two best football teams, college football teams in America. And knowing that everybody would be thinking, what are you talking about? KU playing Oklahoma and see the two best football teams in America? Well, he gave the equivalent of a horse laugh with his writing and said, well, now, I'm not talking about KU. He was talking about the mighty Bud Wilkinson teams of that era, and said, I'm talking about go up to KU and see Oklahoma's first team and a lot of their second team, and you will see the two best college football teams in America. Well, one thing for sure, college football's come a long way since those days. A lot more parity, a lot more really good teams. I don't know how many times this season the front runner's been knocked off by a team that was lowly ranked or not ranked at all. Some great football. And as a sports nut, football fan, I've loved it. But it is a miracle that KU is in the position to perhaps be embarrassed today, perhaps be embarrassed next week, but whether or not they win another game, KU, the coach, the players, they have performed a miracle. Well, it hasn't been very long ago if you talked about a good football team at the collegiate level in Kansas, everybody knew you were talking about Kansas State. And Kansas State hasn't done badly this year, but they're way back in the pack. And KU is sitting right now at first or second in the nation in terms of the ratings. Gee, it would be neat if they'd win again today. But boy, oh boy, I don't care if you're playing Tiddlywinks and you've got KU playing the Tigers from Missouri. You've got a grudge fight on your hands, and grudge fights, it's hard to tell how they turn out. But I'm mighty proud of Kansas University, Coach Magino, Todd, the backup quarterback, all the guys. What a year you've had, and I don't care how these last two games turn out. Hip, hip, hooray for KU football. Hip, hip, hooray for the coach. Hip, hip, hooray for the players. Hey, wouldn't it be neat if the miracle continued and they win a couple more? Or even 3 more. Doesn't really matter. What a great year it's been for Kansas University football.